Hi, friends, welcome back. So, today we got a little bit of news. It looks like Bethesda has finally broken its silence on the next DLC itself with a very short interview with Tim Lamb. I'm going to skip the beginning part. That was basically just like a attempt to kind of like show you Tim Lamb's past and history with Bethesda and all the different works he's done on, the very many different games that Bethesda has produced. It's wonderful. I will have a link in the description below, but we are going to skip into the part where he talks about Starfield. I am going to play that section, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of commentary to it as well, because it's, Bethesda's still kind of being secretive, even though they did confirm there is another DLC on the way.
Starfield is sort of the culmination. It does so many of the things that those other games do, but like 4 times as much in a way. Like everything is what we did before, plus more fidelity, more complexity. To me, Starfield was like making 4 games. You have your I'm running around shooting aliens and space guys. You have your I'm flying around in a spaceship, shooting other spaceships. You have the ship builder game. You have the Outpost game. Starfield to me was like making 4 games at once. I think as it comes to Starfield, I'm really excited for players to see what the team's been working on. We have some cool stuff coming, including free updates and features players have been asking for, as well as a new DLC story. I can't go into all the details just yet, but I will say part of the team has been focused on space gameplay to make the travels there more rewarding. We're also adding some new game systems and a few other smaller delights. There's also some really interesting stuff coming down the pipe from our verified creators. There's some fun stuff. I just want to say thanks. We really appreciate the support and the enthusiasm. We can't wait to get it into the hands of our players.
All right, so that was awfully vague. We didn't even get the title of the DLC, but that was also extremely insightful, in my opinion. But let's talk about what we know from there. He mentioned that we are getting a DLC. We did not get the name, but they mentioned that they are working on it. If we assume the leaks are correct, it's going to be sometime in 2026. Some have said the spring. Now, I reported on Nate the Hate, and he made it seem like he was uncertain of the launch date, but it was looking like 2026. So that kind of uncertainty tells me that it's, towards the beginning of 2026, possibly the end of 2025. I'm sure probably by the time we approach that time frame, we'll have like a more set date. But that kind of clears up the whole like DLC thing. I myself was never really actually concerned about whether they were going to be producing another DLC or not. If you've been watching my channel for a bit, you know I have been following a lot of engagement on different mods. So I actually know that this game is rather popular. A lot more popular than discourse on the internet would lead you to believe, but I do not trust discourse on the internet. I am one of those people, I kind of believe pretty firmly in that dead internet theory that a lot of activity we see online is just bots. So I don't really trust that. I'm going to go with hard data all the time. And there are, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people playing Starfield probably on a daily basis. But let's move on from that DLC discussion. We're probably going to be getting that. I would say the latest is going to be like spring 2026. But we're going to move on to the beginning segment of what he said, where he basically divided the game up into 4 sub games. So how did he divide it? He basically divided it by land-based exploration, space exploration, ship builder, outpost builder. So we have those 4 games. And I think this is extremely important because that's how they view it. And he basically said we are going to be adding new systems. So I am expecting new systems to be added to each one of these categories to make these things more enriching and fulfilling. We know of one through a leak through the code cruise mode. That's probably going to be like Astrogate, being a little bit speculative here. But the code did lead us to believe that we are probably going to see interplanetary travel as a more viable and realistic option within gameplay. So that'll bring an interesting turn of events. Myself, when it comes to Astrogate, I do not use it too much. I do, however, like it for shooting video footage, because it does have some breathtaking video footage when you can do close flybys of planets and stars, which is a really cool thing, very immersive, but the novelty of that kind of wears off, and I kind of resort back to fast traveling. But by all means, let me know. I know some players, they absolutely love that and they must have that immersion factor the entire time. And who am I to say you playing a single player game in the wrong way? That's just silly. So we know that one aspect. But this also brings up what about planet side exploration? What could they possibly be cooking up on that end? I have no clue. If you have speculations, please leave them in the comments section, because I think Tim Lamb mentioned the 4 games for a reason, and that's probably because that's how they view Starfield. They view it as 4 separate games, and he made it seem like they do want to be adding new mechanics to each of them. So I suspect those 2, space exploration, planet side exploration, the gameplay with that. And then also, we're probably going to see something done with the ship builder as well. That could possibly be just adding more ship parts. I know a lot of the shipbuilding community, if you just added more parts, they would be happy as a clam. Because I know there's a lot of mod overhauls that kind of like tweak and adjust the shipbuilder itself. But we will see if they do make any kind of adjustments to that shipbuilder, or if they just bring more ship parts to kind of expand the amount of creativity that the shipbuilding community can do. But let me know your opinions on that. I'm not much of a shipbuilder myself, so I'm not too aware of where the shipbuilder mechanics could be improved. Should definitely be interesting. I think he did mention something about like the dog fighting the space combat itself as well. So I hope they leave the what is it? The boarding and taking over of enemy ships intact. I really love that aspect of the game, and I'd be greatly saddened if they altered that because I think that works well. But I could see maybe some mechanics being changed in the actual combat itself. But that leaves us to the Outpost Builder. So we could be seeing more HABs and different things being brought into the Outpost Builder itself. Maybe some tweaks and adjustments to allow more details. I know people complain about walls all the time. Myself, I actually like the HABs. I did not like the walls in Fallout 4. I thought the outpost building system was where you could get like super duper detailed, but you also had to spend like a ton of time like lining up walls and stuff, and it wasn't not my favorite. I prefer the outpost building system from Starfield. One, I like the pre-constructed HABs. It just makes things easier for me. Plus, two, in Fallout 4, you were tied to these little nodes where the settlements could be built. And unlike that, in Starfield, I can pick my location and I can also pick my scenery. That's one of the things I love to do because, like, picking the skybox for where your settlement is in Starfield is just amazing because like I can just put it right in front of like a gas giant, and it looks absolutely stellar and beautiful. Um, However, I would like to be able to get a little bit more detailed. I would not mind them adding more things that I can put in the outpost, like different furniture. I would not mind them adding new habs. I'd be fine if they added walls, just as long as they didn't like get rid of the habs. So perfectly fine if they want to add that to kind of like placate the people that really, really want to get like super duper detailed with like building their own structures and stuff. Myself, I'm kind of very content with the habs, but absolutely would not mind if they added like walls and stuff for people. There's plenty of mods out there that do add walls, but let's move on to the next thing he said. So they played a little bit of Watchtower footage and mentioned we have a lot of upcoming things from our verified creators. Now, this makes me think that Kinggath is cooking something for us. And if I was going to speculate on what he was cooking, a lot of people wish that they could build cities instead of just simple outposts. And what else has Kinggath made in the past? Oh, yes, that's right, Sim Settlement. Would it be possible that Kinggath is building something contemporary with Sim Settlement for Starfield? I speculating, of course, I'm speculating, but I think it is highly probable that he might be building something like Sim Settlement. That being said, List, a faction about settling the different settled systems, does not have a faction quest. That would be a lot of fun if someone added a sim settlement like mod to this game where we could build larger outposts and settlements and also built in a faction quest tied to list. That would make so much sense, and I would be so happy because that's probably one of my biggest critiques of this game is one of the coolest factions, List, has no faction quest. I hear people complain about this game all the time, but they don't mention that. It's just amazing. Like the biggest, most vocal critics of Starfield seem to miss all like the low-hanging fruit, and that might be because they didn't really engage with Starfield and they don't really understand Starfield's issues. Um, but that's kind of my like speculation on all that Tim Lamb kind of said there. I think we're probably going to get some kind of mechanics added to land-based exploration, space-based exploration, probably something added to the shipbuilder that could be like ship parts, as simple as ship parts, and then we're probably going to get some stuff added to the outpost builder. I would expect they're probably going to add walls because that has been like a huge complaint by people. And they might touch up the mechanics. I know some people complain about the snapping. I do not have issues with that. But I could see them adding some more habs, walls, so you can kind of make your own custom settlement or your custom outposts, and maybe some more habs as well. We have a DLC in the works. Rumor is that it is going to be sometime in 2026, as late as spring 2026. I'm kind of doubtful on that because that's going to line up with a GTA launch unless that gets pushed back, the GTA launch. I suspect it's probably going to be more towards the beginning of 2026. But then also Tim did allude about verified creators, and he happened to be showing Watchtower there, so I expect we're getting something from Kinggath, and based off of his modding history and the low hanging fruit in Starfield and constant complaints about not being able to build cities in space, I suspect Starfield is going to be getting some kind of sim settlement. And my personal wishes is it comes with a faction quest tied to list. That would be my dream. So this is my thoughts, basically, on what Tim Lamb said. But you, dear viewer, please feel free to leave some comments down below about your own personal speculation of what's coming up in regards to Starfield. Um, and as always, please enjoy the rest of your night, guys.